Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Deanne Phillips, Director of Client Learning and Development, CFP, and a CDFA. She joins us. Welcome back.
Hi, Danny.
We're going to talk about financial moves after a transitional crisis. And the catalysts that lead to transitional crises are the ones you've spoken about before: death, divorce, and disability.
Well, that's correct, Danny. But remember, there are positive transitions, of course, too, like marriage and children and potentially retirement. But yes, we tend to think of the sudden, negatively, emotionally charged changes first, like death, divorce, disability. And a really recent survey using 2019 data actually found the U.S. ranks 16th among developed countries for retiree well-being when looking at health, quality of life, and, of course, finances. Now, this is where it hits, unfortunately, women especially. So the U.S., while it's in the top 10 per capita of countries for income, we remain in the U.S. the bottom 10 for income equality. And so when suddenly single, that can become a real problem for a woman.
And those are factors that are made more difficult by the fact that women tend to take more time out of the workplace for family. That results in lower overall benefits in retirement, as well as outliving their partners, and that's a problem.
Well, there is in generally, yes, that's true. Globally now, potential lasting implications for retirees also due to the pandemic and policy actions that have been taken and necessarily taken to lead to interest rates being lower than normal and lower for far longer. Add this along with the income inequality. This is a problem for the U.S. where women tend to take more time out of the workforce away to raise a family, help a sick one, resulting in lower overall benefits in retirement, as well as they, of course, outlive their male partners usually. So besides women tending to be concerned about outliving their money, they worry about the cost of health care in retirement. Unfortunately, the U.S. continues to have one of the highest healthcare expenditures per capita, meaning the highest amount spent on healthcare per person amongst developed countries.
And when any of those Ds creep in, death, divorce, disability, women have to make decisions that can affect the rest of their lives.
This is hard enough when a retired couple is facing these headwinds, but especially when one partner faces one of those devastating Ds, death, divorce, and disability.
So let's talk about financial moves after a transitional crisis. At the top, advice should be to take your time, but is it too early or the first step to meet with a financial advisor?
Yeah, I don't think it's too early. If someone finds himself faced with a sudden transition, remember that large emotional burden that happens, and it's truly impactful. This is true for all large transitions in life. So it's important to remember to take your time with making big decisions, like selling a house or buying a financial product, especially if you feel pressured in any way to hurry your decision. One of the first things on the list to do is to gather someone that you trust to your side who would not benefit in any way monetarily from any of those financial transactions. This removes a potential conflict of interest. The trust me, we know each other. I know what's best for you sales pitch. So just bring a friend, disinterested party who cares about you to examine your options in a clear, visioned way.
Because there's a lot of people that are going to come out of the woodwork. You're right. Another step is to make sure somebody's estate is in order.
Yeah, you have to be sure your estate is in order personally. So if you have a will, trust, or estate planning documents, be sure and have them examined by an attorney who can advise you to the next steps you need to take. Now, this is true not only with the death of a spouse to make sure there's smooth transfer of assets as clean of a way as possible, but definitely it's true in divorce. Make sure things are titled accurately. And in case of incapacitation of a spouse, to make sure resources are allocated in the best way for care purposes.
Those 3 Ds, death, divorce, disability, they can impact Social Security.
Yeah, if you're over 60 and widowed, you may be entitled to special Social Security survivor benefits. If you're working with a funeral home, the director will most likely contact Social Security on your behalf and stop the deceased spouse's benefit. But you need to work with an advisor to work through your potential benefit and timing of the claiming process. Divorce and disability also potentially provide you with special Social Security claiming strategies and benefits too.
And make sure beneficiary designations are correct. That's super important.
It is. So, Danny, I can tell you as a CDFA, I've sat with people where there was an oops. They forgot to change their beneficiary designation, passed on, and boy, was that ex-spouse surprised when they were the recipient of that life insurance. You have to know where your assets are going, and that's something you review with your advisor or attorney.
And then here's something everybody should have set up correctly. That's knowing where those passwords are, what those passwords are for financial accounts, whose name is on bill, and how those bills are paid.
Yeah, so this is the reorganization. And, this can be difficult after the fact. So knowing where or what passwords are and how bills are paid online and what's in whose name are all issues that can and should really be dealt with before an emotional crisis, if at all possible. So now at Annex, we have a financial organizer to assist our clients with this information and more. And while no one looks forward to these transitions, being organized helps one through those life transitions, knowing where you stand financially and from a holistic financial planning point of view through any issue, premature passing, long-term care incident, to even, how will I look if I'm out there on my own? These are very real questions, and we at Annex address them in fresh financial planning scenarios with our clients all the time.
Deanne Phillips, Director of Client Learning and Development, CFP, and a CDFA at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me.